So this is me trying to code an app with the Python that I learned in the last video. Okay, hold up. Actually, I already made the app. But since I had to make a video about it, here I am making a video about it. And I'll try to act, if you want, as if I haven't made it yet, and I'll try to tell the story of how I made the app. So let's dive straight into it. So it all began one day. I came home after school and so I just got home from school and I've got a really useful program idea. I know, yeah. Don't ask me why I've got a mic in my hand after school. Forget that. But let's get to work now. Okay, so the idea is basically I will use APIs, and let me explain what an API is. An API is an API. An application programming interface is like a waiter in a restaurant. Imagine you are at a restaurant and you want to order food. You don't go to the kitchen yourself. Instead, you tell the waiter what you want. The waiter takes your order, gives it to the kitchen, and then brings your food back to you. An API works the same way in the world of computers. It helps different apps, websites, or programs talk to each other. You, the user, make a request. The API takes it to the system, like the kitchen, and then brings back the response, which is your food in this case. For example, when you use a weather app, the app doesn't have all the weather data itself. Instead, it asks a weather API to get the latest forecast for your location and show it to you. And no, it totally wasn't ChatGPT. Okay, it was ChatGPT. And I just read what ChatGPT gave me. But at least you understood, so it does the work. And oh, yes, before I forget, the API used for this project is the OpenWeather API. So if you're interested, you can just go check it out on their website. It's a fantastic API, and I really recommend it if you want to use the API for the same purpose as I did. So now you know what an API is. Let me explain the idea to you. Basically, I make an app which gives you the weather data. You just have to enter the name of the city and you get the data corresponding to that city. So let's see how it goes. So this is what this code does. It basically asks you for a city name, and when you type it in and hit enter, it gives you all the weather data. And oh yes, before I forget, this app took me about 3 hours to develop. Yes, 3 hours, that's right. Okay, I know, it's not like an app, because in apps you have interactivity. Like you can press on buttons and all. But here you don't have that. It's running on a terminal because I just learned Python. I didn't know how to make a website. So I figured that I can just use VS Code's built-in terminal and it should work fine. So basically, I enter the name of the city on the terminal and then it gives me the output on the terminal itself. But this app gives you a general idea of what happens behind the scenes when making an app. And before getting to the interactivity, you have to go through multiple steps. So this is like the most basic app that you can build without any interactivity, drop down menus and the fancy stuff. And it works. That's the good thing about it. And I'm happy that I made this. It was a really fun project to do. And this was my first time actually making an app that is kind of useful. And I hope you yourself give Python a try. And in my opinion, it's a really good skill to learn. That's all I wanted to say. This is me, Addy, signing off. Bye bye.